Karen Whitmore's pristine fireplace detonated like a bomb one quiet evening. Thick black smoke choked her perfect suburban chimney while she shrieked in the driveway. Her hair was half-singed and her silk robe looked barbecue-ruined. In the tidy Maple Ridge estates, every lawn obeyed strict HOA rules. Karen ruled them all with an iron clipboard and fake smile. Tom Thompson lived 2 doors down, a quiet engineer who just wanted peace. He had lost his wife years earlier and craved simple backyard calm. His neatly stacked firewood pile sat behind the shed each fall. Karen hated that pile with every ounce of her petty soul. She declared it violated aesthetic standards and fire hazard codes. She slapped him with a fine and a 10-day relocation order. Tom stacked the wood neater, yet Karen kept coming back at night. She stole logs in high heels, leaving perfect prints in the grass. Tom noticed the missing pieces and carved secret notches as proof. He installed hidden cameras that captured her smug midnight raids. Karen bragged at HOA meetings about protecting community beauty. She called Tom a threat while burning his stolen oak in secret. Tom smiled quietly and decided engineering justice was long overdue. He hollowed a few logs in his workshop late one night. Inside he packed just enough black powder for a loud smoky pop. The fake logs looked identical to the real ones on his pile. He placed them right in the middle like a gift for thieves. Karen returned on the 5th night, her SUV idling in the dark. She loaded the special logs with her usual self-righteous grin. She whispered that the neighborhood would thank her for the cleanup. Tom watched the footage, sipping coffee and smiling at her arrogance. The next evening Karen lit her fireplace for a cozy night. A thunderous boom rocked the cul-de-sac and windows rattled hard. Neighbors rushed outside to see smoke pouring from her roof. Karen stood screaming in soot-covered panic, waving at firefighters. She blamed faulty wood while the crew tried not to laugh. Tom strolled over casually with his coffee mug and calm face. He asked if she enjoyed the free neighborhood-sourced firewood. Karen's eyes widened as she realized exactly what he meant. The crowd murmured when Tom played the clear night vision video. There was Karen on screen stealing logs under her own flashlight. She denied everything until the HOA treasurer saw the proof herself. Karen's face turned the color of her ruined silk robe. She accused Tom of harassment and demanded his cameras be removed. The new board members exchanged glances and started whispering fast. Officer Ramirez arrived and reviewed the footage on Tom's phone. He confirmed trespassing and theft but issued only a warning first. Karen stormed off in her SUV, tires screeching down the street. The neighborhood group chat exploded with shocked, laughing messages. People finally admitted they were tired of her endless petty fines. Tom sat by his own fire pit that night and raised a cold beer. He toasted to science and the sweet sound of karma crackling. 3 days later, Karen tried one last power move with a hearing. She summoned Tom to the clubhouse, claiming he endangered everyone. The room was packed because word of the explosion spread fast. Karen stood at the head table, chin high and voice sharp. She called his wood pile a malicious trap and public hazard. Tom stood calmly and projected the video onto the big screen. Gasps filled the room as Karen's theft played in full color. She stammered that the cameras invaded her privacy somehow. The vice president quoted bylaws and called for an emergency vote. One by one hands rose to remove Karen as HOA president. Even her loyal treasurer lifted her arm with a tired sigh. Karen's empire of clipboards and threats crumbled in seconds flat. She grabbed her purse, muttered about lawyers, and slammed the door. The clubhouse erupted in applause and relieved laughter everywhere. The new board relaxed rules and finally hosted a summer barbecue. Tom grilled burgers while neighbors thanked him with cold drinks. Karen tried posting angry flyers and online rants for weeks after. She called herself a victim of a firewood conspiracy online. Few people joined her new page and most just unfollowed fast. Her water heater burst one morning and the HOA denied her help. She screamed at the plumber while the whole street pretended not to hear. By late summer, a bright red for sale sign appeared in her yard. Moving trucks arrived and half the block came out to watch quietly. Karen shouted that they were all ungrateful, small-minded vultures. Tom called back from his porch with a grin and raised beer. He reminded her the last person who insulted the neighborhood got fireworks. She glared, drove off, and never looked back in the rearview. The neighborhood stood in silence, then burst into loud cheers. For the first time, Maple Ridge felt like a real community again. New families moved in and planted flowers without fear of fines. Kids rode bikes fast, and no one measured grass with rulers. Tom's backyard workshop became the spot for weekend fireside talks. Neighbors swapped stories and laughed about the Great Wood explosion. The retired couple who bought Karen's old house hosted a welcome brunch. They brought real firewood and joked about keeping it boring this time. One crisp autumn morning, Karen appeared at Tom's gate unannounced. She looked smaller, tired, and asked for a dusty box from the shed. Tom walked with her and they spoke without raised voices finally. She admitted the control had become an obsession she regretted. Tom told her neighborhoods thrive on respect, not endless rules. She nodded slowly, picked up her box, and left without threats. That night, the fire pit glowed with friends and soft laughter. Someone toasted to balance, and the day petty power finally fell. Tom watched sparks rise into the dark sky like tiny freedoms. He realized justice sometimes arrives wrapped in smoke and irony. In the end, Karen taught everyone a quiet, profound truth. Small tyrants with big clipboards always burn themselves eventually. Respect cannot be enforced with fines or midnight thefts. It grows only when people choose decency over control. Maple Ridge breathed easier and the lawns stayed green anyway. Tom split fresh logs each fall and stacked them openly now. No one fined him because no one needed to play king anymore. The neighborhood simply lived, and that was the real victory. Karma, it turns out, needs no blueprint, just a little patience. And sometimes a perfectly engineered pop to remind everyone. Power looks ridiculous when it explodes in your own face.